Coming up in today's episode.
So basically the first thing is we arrived at 11 o'clock at night. This was a nightmare because basically our taxi driver didn't pick up. We had to get another taxi driver. The next day it was basically silent day where we could do absolutely nothing.
And we went to the Nusa Penida island.
Then we went to Kelingking Beach, which I was super excited about. So this is basically the famous thing of Bali to do.
We're Quentin and Vianney,
two guys trying to visit 40 countries before we turn 40.
We're taking the world on by trying to explore different countries, cultures, food, and by being as adventurous as possible.
We decided to film all of this for our future selves to look back on for one day when we are older. So let's go on a Kiwi travel adventure.
Hi future Quentin!
And hi future Vianney!
And to all our friends and family watching, and today we are taking you to Bali! So we flew from the Doha International Airport, which was awesome to see. So many cool things to see there at the airport. Very international, absolutely awesome. And then we flew to Bali, which was a very long awaited trip, which we absolutely loved. And then, so basically the first thing is we arrived at 11 o'clock at night. This was a nightmare because basically our taxi driver didn't pick up. We had to get another taxi driver. I think it was eventually about 12:30 at night. It was the Nyepi festival, so they basically had all the Oku statues and so on, which they were busy with, but we'll explain a bit about that later in the video. So yes, the next day it was basically silent day where we could do absolutely nothing. And let's just say the past
24
hours basically has been
48 hours.
We're having some breakfast, so we already ate it. It is now past 1, almost 2. We only got up at 12:30. Because when we arrived here, it was not as fun. Our taxi guy did not pitch up, even though they deducted the money. We had to book another guy who totally scammed us, and he knew it because there was a festival going on, so we paid way more than we should have, so that was also interesting. Then we got here to our place, and so they double booked our room, so we did not get the room we were supposed to. We were supposed to stay in the bigger room, and now it is silent there, so we can't do anything about it. We seriously couldn't do anything that day, so we had to stay in the hotel, so nobody is allowed to do anything on this day. There was no cell phone reception. Electricity was switched off on parts of the island because you are not allowed to do anything on silent day. You must just be silent, basically. So yeah, so on this day we then just at the hotel decided to try some local foods for our first day, which is nasi goreng, which is basically fried rice, and then mi goreng, which is basically fried noodle, and we also tried the local beer. So we are trying the local beer, like we do in every country. So let's see what this tastes like. Oh, better than all the other ones. Better than Chang in Thailand, better than Kilimanjaro. It is beer, but it's very soft. It's not a hard beer. It's very, very, very light. Definitely one of the best ones we've had so far.
The next day was our first official trip that we took to explore Bali, and we went to the Nusa Penida island. As we took our speedboat trip, you could have a beautiful glimpse of the volcano, the Mount Agung volcano. We arrived, we got our driver, and we took our very first trip to the very first beach that we're going to see for the day, which was the Diamond Beach. This was absolutely beautiful because the first thing that really blows your mind is the color of the beach, and that in contrast with the color of the sand. Everything was just so beautiful and turquoise, and then you have these beautiful white sands. It was so beautiful. We spent some time there, took some pictures, and we continued to
Atu Beach, which was just right next to it, so that was just a very quick look over at that beach. But then we went to Kelingking Beach, which I was super excited about. So this is basically the famous thing of Bali to do. There's two famous things islands. The first one, which is this one, which is Kelingking Beach. It was super cool. There was a lot of people, yes, but obviously when we needed to take our photos, luckily there weren't too many people, so this was extremely beautiful. I'm so happy. Even when I look at the photos still today, I can't believe we were actually there. So that was absolutely awesome. And directly after that, we had some quick lunch, also some local food once again, and this was included into the trip, so we didn't even have to pay for this, which was absolutely awesome. Had some iced teas, which was super needed because it was extremely hot. So yes.
And then we headed to Broken Beach, which was another beautiful surprise because it was just absolutely amazing that there was this huge, beautiful hole filled with the beach and the sand. And this is the part where they normally had the stingrays that would swim.
Yes.
That's the one there. But it was just so absolutely amazing that on this same field you have these beautiful different islands, and Broken Island was just one of the ones that wowed us the most. And then just around the corner from that one, you had the Angel Billabong Beach, where most people would take a dip there. It also was quite beautiful to see, and again, the water and the rocks and just nature and the peacefulness of people being there and enjoying this natural environment was absolutely stunning.
So after this extremely cool day on Nusa Penida, we then headed back with the boat to the main island of Bali, and then we went to our first warung, which we were very excited about, and this was Murni's Warung. Now Murni's Warung is basically one of the first restaurants on Bali, on the entire island, which was super cool. You could also taste it in the food. It was so cool. I had nasi goreng once again. You just have to, because I wanted to try the different ones. Vianney had something completely different, which was beef rendang, which was actually recommended by the BBC as one of the best meals in the world, which was super cool also to see. And we also had some satay on coals, which they give you right there and then to keep it warm, which was such a cool experience. So that was an awesome first warung experience.
The next day, as we waited for our driver, we took some pictures of the local temples that were surrounding us where we were staying in Bali. And then we took our trip to the beautiful waterfalls. Now, this was a first for Quentin and I because we are not the adventurous types. So it was really exciting. We didn't know what to expect at all. One thing that is quite upsetting is the actual walk in the water there, because no one prepares you for that. We didn't have the proper shoes and it was just horrible getting there, but it was so worth it because the waterfalls, to physically be there, was just absolutely beautiful. The first waterfall we visited was called the Tukad Cepung Waterfall, and it was ponging. It really was absolutely amazing. It was just wonderful to be with Mother Nature. And then if you just take 2 steps back, you would be greeted by the second waterfall, which doesn't have a name, but she was beautiful.
But yes, that was awesome. And then from there on, we went to something else which I was very excited about, which is the Penglipuran Village. Now, the Penglipuran Village is basically an old village from Bali that they kept exactly the way it is. So basically everything is made of bamboo because there's a bamboo forest right next to it, and all the houses, the roofs and everything's basically been kept exactly the way it was way back when. So it was just beautiful to walk through all of this, going to the main temple on the other side, and just you are actually able to walk into these people's houses, see how it works. Each and every single house has a temple, not only in this village, throughout the entire Bali, which is interesting to see. So yes, this was truly just a stunning day. And then from there on, we went to the coffee plantation, which we have sort of become actually coffee kind of people. Oddly enough, we never thought we would say that, but yes, we went to a coffee plantation. So they explained some things, how it works, how they make the coffee. So then they more specifically explained to you about the luwak coffee, which is the animal obviously they have there, and it basically eats the coffee beans and then it poos it out, and they use that to basically make the coffee. Now, we did taste that, and we had an awesome coffee tasting, which we loved. So it was a coffee and tea tasting, which was absolutely awesome. So now we are going to try the famous cappuccino. This is the luwak coffee made from the luwak's poo. So here we go. Vianney is going first.
This is plain without sugar.
Apparently it tastes different. That's just a lot. It is extremely strong though. So this is also the most expensive coffee in the world. So yes, but we're going to add some coconut sugar to this. But it's definitely better, but I don't know, it's not for me. It's too strong. It's very, very, very strong. And then thereafter, we just had a quick lunch while we were overlooking this beautiful rice fields. Again, just an awesome lunch. Their food in general is very good in Bali, I must say, especially for the value for money that you get out of that as well, and beautiful rice field views, which you get all over Bali. And then we went to
the Tirta Empul Temple. This was one of the main things that we wanted to visit in Bali, but we didn't expect the experience to be such a great highlight. After putting on our beautiful sarongs, we went into the temple, walked around, had a beautiful view of everything that's happening in the temple, and we saw people busy with different ceremonies, which was wonderful to finally see up close, because throughout our entire stay, from day one, there were always some form of offerings happening. It was, you could smell it in the air, you could see the offerings everywhere, which was very beautiful, and these things happen at regular intervals throughout the day. So we had an up close and personal view of this. Thereafter, we changed into our second sarongs to do the purification ceremony, which was soul altering. It really was wonderful to partake in a tradition and bring your own religion and belief system into it, because we went into it doing our Christian-based prayers and just praying from our heart to the Christian God, which was just absolutely amazing. And what was so wonderful is the fact that, like the Catholics, they had specific rituals and traditions that they do with their prayers, so it carries a lot of weight because you physically have to do something while praying, which just makes the process so much more beautiful. And it was really something that we enjoyed, and we were really grateful for this opportunity, and again to our tour guide and driver, which helped us along and explained us how to do it, keeping in mind who we are and where we come from, which was just absolutely amazing. I really enjoyed it, and the waters were just so calming and moving and beautiful
and cold and refreshing. And then from there on, we just had a quick bite in the evening on our way to the Kecak Dance, which was super cool to see. So obviously we are theatre lovers, but this one was actually more special because they don't use music, they only use their voices and the word chak 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 basically the whole time. So it was basically this Hindu story that they are telling, which was super cool to see. It reminded me of David and Goliath, the story. Actually, it was very similar, which was quite interesting. But yeah, so they basically have these Indonesian dances that they do while these bunch of men are basically just using their voices as part of the music. So, and then there was a guy at the end that was just doing the fire dance, which was, he was basically just running throughout the fire, and he was in a trance. Yes, so that was interesting to see.
But interesting fact about the performance that we saw is all the members are from the community. They're not professional performers. You had men playing female roles, and they were absolutely stunning. And all the proceeds that they get would go for the benefit of the community. Their specific temple in that community, they would build it up and upgrade it. And what's also very interesting is that these performances would tour throughout the community. So every evening it's at a different place, and it really was wonderful to see how normal everyday people keep theatre alive.
And then after that we had supper at our local warung, which was basically on the opposite side of our guest house where we were staying at, and this one was super cheap. The food was super nice. We had this awesome starter, then we had mains, we had dessert. This was truly just an awesome warung experience, and all of this food we had was less than 200 rand, which was absolutely incredible
for the both of us.
So that's it for this video. See you again in the next one, where we explore the north side of Bali, Ubud and Uluwatu. See you next time.
Next time on Kiwi Travel Adventures.
So we have found some street food. We are nose tasting, and it is loud.
Tastes like bubblegum. 1, 2, 4. Aye. No.
Yeah. 4, 5.
Aye.